Hello everybody, I am Kakiria. I am going to walk you through the steps that I use to record my gameplay in World of Warcraft typically, all the way from recording the actual gameplay to processing it to selecting music and the rendering settings that I use before I upload the video itself to YouTube with the quality that I prefer to have in my videos. So the very first step that you're going to need is to have something to actually record the game with. My choice is fraps. I'm a little bit out of date. I think the last version is 3.4.7 as of the time I make this movie. I typically set my recording to 30 frames per second, and you want to make sure that you have selected full size. The hotkey that you use to actually start and stop your recording is up to you, and whether or not you want to include the sound that happens during your gameplay is also up to you. Make sure that the directory that you save your movies to has a lot of space on it. A 7-minute boss kill, I'm going from the example that I'm going to show you now. Our boss kill of Beth'Telak tonight took 7 minutes, and the raw data from fraps is somewhere around 25 gigs. So that'll give you some sort of an idea of how much space you need per recording session. Now that we've done that, we can close this, and I can actually go and show you where those files are. So here are the 4 files. If I go to details, you can see that it's about 20 gigs for this boss kill. So you need plenty of space if you want to be recording for an entire night, and that's that side of things. One thing that I've found, depending on which software you're using, is that occasionally the fraps codec has given me a little bit of trouble in Vegas and also in Premiere and Windows Movie Maker when I used to use that. One of the things that I do is I will tend to uncompress all of those videos into a pure raw video format. So I use this program called Virtual Dub Batcher. You can get Virtual Dub itself and then the Batcher program. I'm going to provide links in the video comments below. And you can see here, I open up the program, click on the plus icon, select all the videos that I want. One of the things that you can do is you can use your processing file. So I have created a file here called uncompressed, which I did by selecting video compression, going uncompressed, OK, and save processing settings. And then you can create your configuration file. I've named it uncompressed. So that's what I'm using here. So I'm going to select, let me actually make sure that I have selected all of these using the Control-A command. Select my processing file. Select an output directory. One of the things that I'll just do is I'll just go into the same directory there, put it into something called output, or uncompressed, sorry. Virtual Dub, select that, and then I create job, or generate job list and start Virtual Dub. And this will crunch away for a little bit. So here we are after the uncompression is complete. Like I said before, it's an optional step. It's something that you can do if you find that you're having troubles getting your videos to render properly in Vegas, or if you choose Windows Movie Maker or Adobe Premiere or whatever other final processing software you decide to use. It's just an optional step and the one thing that I like to do. So here you see the 5 resultant files, 1 per each input file. And you can see that they've grown to about 5 times in size, so a total of about 100 gigs. So more disk space, whether or not you need it. It took about 15 minutes, so it's a little bit more time there as well. What we're going to do now is we're going to open up our production software. I choose to use Vegas Pro. It's easy to use. It's pretty straightforward. And I'm going to grab those files, and I'm going to go add to project media. And they're going to show up here. And we're going to open this in the trimmer. There's a whole bunch of us waiting around before we actually go to pull. And where's the actual start? It's somewhere around here. a subclip, drop that in, take the next 3 segments, drop them in, and this last one I already checked is pretty much the whole video. So you can see that our total time is a little over 7.5 minutes, 7 minutes 40 seconds. So I already looked ahead of time. One of the things that I like to do with my music that I want to find, just to make it easier on myself, we saw that the total time was about 7 minutes 40 seconds. And so what you can do is you can create what are known as smart playlists in iTunes, or Winamp and Windows Media Player have similar functionality. You create a playlist that searches based on certain criteria instead of just add this song, add that song, add this song. So here we have iTunes finally loaded. Sometimes it does that. I haven't quite figured out why it does. It's loaded up, and so you can see that I've got 3 playlists here that are called long, medium, and short songs. And if we look at what the properties are, I chose to ignore all of my Dave Matthews stuff. I have a lot of recordings of live concerts that I don't want to show up in these searches. Chances are I'm also going to not use a Dave Matthews song in one of my videos. If I do, I can find it manually. But I look for my short songs playlist, it's anything that is longer than 1 minute or less than 5 minutes. The medium songs is between 5 and 8 minutes, and the long songs is anything from 8 minutes to, I believe, 15 minutes. So it just makes it a little bit easier to find a length of song that is appropriate for your video. And so I already chose a song ahead of time that I was going to use, and we'll go ahead and find that. You'll of course have to know where all of your files are located on your own hard drive. And we'll go to, where is it? Theory of Trance. And we'll go Underworld, add to Project Media. And since I'm probably not going to include the voice chat from our raid tonight, I'm just going to delete that track, drag the audio in here, and I can also shorten this. And then a couple of the small things that I like to do, just a little bit of a fade in for about a second. And we'll change the fade type just so it's a little bit smoother. Find the time at which he actually dies. Click, 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 click. Grab the wrong part there. Fade, fade. Adjust the fade type. And here we have a basic video. I haven't included my intro, but that's just a matter of drag and drop as well. Video, some music, and then one of the file that you want to render as. I've done quite a bit of looking around with this. I used to render things as Windows Media format, which works well for uploading to YouTube's. I've recently been changing this to the main concept AVC encoder. It produces a .mp4 file. It generally gives me the same quality for a much smaller file size. If you look in my channel, you'll see my video for our regular Ragnaros 25 kill. That video in its Windows Media format was about 1.5 gigabytes in size. I re-encoded it just for curiosity's sake, and it ended up being somewhere around 900 megabytes with this one. So it'll save you about 40% in your file size, which means 40% faster uploading. I have a slightly larger screen than most. I have a 1920 by 1200 screen. It's a 24-inch monitor. So this is what I set both. Actually, I forgot to tell you guys that. If we go to Project Properties, one of the things that you can do is you can save your own template. And an easy way of finding the template parameters that you need is I go to this little button here that says Match Media Settings. And I'll go to one of these uncompressed videos. And you just click on it and it'll automatically fill out the width and height and the frame rate. 8-bit pixel format is just fine. all the other things that you can set are pretty much default. And the pre-rendered files folder, you want to set this to another directory that has a lot of space in it because the intermediary files will be quite large. And you can save this as a custom template, and you can also select to start all new projects with these settings, which is generally what you want to do. So once you've done that, we can also take our project that we have here, we can go render as, and if you look at the main concept AVC and go custom, you'll typically want to set a custom frame size. You want to match your width and height and the frame rate. The main profile I found to be better, and for a size that is either 1200 pixels in height, or if you're going for a 1080p rendering size, I found that going for a variable bitrate, 2-pass encoding with a maximum bitrate of 20 megabits per second and an average bitrate of 14 megabits per second works quite well. You also want to make sure that you check the deblocking filter. It helps reduce some of the artifacting that you can see. And pixel aspect ratio needs to be 1. Under the audio, 192 kilobit bitrate, just because I have some high quality audio. You may choose to lower this a little bit. It doesn't matter too much for the file size because the bulk of it is going to be your video. And video rendering quality for best, and then 3D mode you can pretty much ignore. And then you can save this profile as you wish as well. And so then you can select this template in your fraps recording. Uncheck save project markers and media file because it's not that important, and we'll go Beth for the file name and save. And now Vegas will crunch away for a little bit more, and at the end of it we'll have a rendered file with audio that you can use to upload to YouTube or Xfire or any one of your other favorite video sharing sites. Hopefully you found this tutorial useful. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below on this video or on my channel.